I used to do lots of things.
I used to do things and I'd say things and Jesus I was evil. Take things and break things and Jesus I was evil. I never shook baby.
It's that time of year, Joe.
Ah, yes.
That time of year. It is the movie Super Bowl. Um, I love it. I know it's
your Crimbus?
most it's my lib holiday. I love it. I can't wait for everyone to get up there and talk about empowerment and finally being seen and all those great things.
I have not been to Hollywood in the last couple of months, so I have not seen the usual flood. For your consideration,
What does that mean? What do you mean?
Oh yes, so like in Hollywood, specifically like Hollywood Boulevard and Sunset, they have all these posters from the studios saying, "For your consideration, please consider so and so for best actor, Blobbity Blue for best film." It's like it's just studios just like trying to attract as many Academy members and.
I was gonna say, like, we don't vote. Like, it's not like a popular vote.
Yeah, it's just so it's just a bunch of like studio insiders just trying to catch their attention. But it's funny, yeah, like it's just that part of it. It's funny because I don't really like it, but on the other hand, I do get a huge kick out of it. Where it's just like, yeah, like it's studios flexing on each other. It's like, no, pick me, no, pick me. So it's just like a dumb popularity contest with posters.
Yeah, well, I'm just kidding. I hate the speeches unless they're really good. Which is once in a while you do get a good one. I'm blanking on his name, but the best supporting actor last year's was really good. He was famously short round from Indiana Jones, and then he won for Crazy Everywhere Asians Who Are Rich.
Yeah. And Across the Multiverse, yeah.
And Across the Crazy Multiverse Asians, which was a great movie. But that being said, I don't know. I'm a sucker for like any kind of student of history or buff of history. We like dates, we like champions, we like that sort of stuff. Even if it's flawed, which it is, even if it's whatever your disagreement with it is. I mean, we literally call it the meat parade from George C. Scott, but I still like it. It's fun to talk about all these movies. So this year I really tried to make an effort to watch as many movies from the movie year as possible. So why count the movie years like Oscar to Oscar? But so I shouldn't say it that way. I count the movie. It's the calendar year, but I start. So I'm behind every year in 2020. Like for 2024, but not that much has come out yet. But like once the Oscars are over, then I try and do as many 2024 movies up until that year. So in the end, it ends at about 12 months.
Yeah.
This year I watched 88 movies from the year, about 130 total movies, 88 for 2023. I tried to get a good cross section of everything. That being said, I still did not see every Best Picture nominee, which is frustrating. So all of my picks here and predictions are going to be, there's a caveat that I've not seen American Fiction, Poor Things, or The Zone of Interest. That's not for not wanting to see them.
Right.
It's very frustrating because they're not playing in theaters anywhere near me.
Yeah.
I've checked, and they're also not for rent. They're only to buy, and I'm not buying a movie that I don't know if I love. Like I don't really buy movies, period. I'm not one of those people. I love to buy books and other things, but I don't need to buy movies. So it's really annoying that I can't just rent them. That being said, Poor Things literally came on Hulu today. So that might throw off all of these picks, which is really frustrating. It sounds like a really cool movie. I love Yorgos Lanthimos. He's a great director. I didn't count nominations, but it's got to be up there for most nominations. Zone of Interest, American Fiction. I'd really like to see them. I really like Jeffrey Wright in American Fiction. It actually sounds like a very like TRM type movie too. Do you know what it's about?
Yeah, I do. And it's funny because like when I watched the trailer, I was initially kind of like, I don't know, this seems a little heavy-handed. But then I was like reading some reviews and it seems much more nuanced than I gave it credit for. So.
Yeah. I'm not saying like just kind of, I know that one part of it is, he's really annoyed. He's like I guess like a classics professor, something like that.
Yeah.
And he just wants to be considered a writer and the
Yeah.
merit of his writing. And of course, he's putting like Black fiction or something or African American fiction. He's really pissed off about it. And just knowing Jeffrey Wright, he's just like a premier actor. I think that'd be really cool to see. So anyway, so that being said, I might see American Fiction or I might see Zone of Interest or Poor Things and think, oh my God, that's the best movie of the year. This performance is the best. So all these are without that. My picks, I always do who I think is going to win and who I want to win.
Right.
So for who I think is going to win, I do still pick those movies sometimes just from what's out there in the discourse, what I've heard in reviews. I can't really pick who I want to win from those movies because I haven't seen them. So before we get into that, I would like to talk about movies that are not nominated. A few. I want to talk about my favorite movies that over the year we did touch on a couple of these.
Yeah.
But that I think deserve more love. I'm not saying that they even should have been nominated for Oscars, but we talk a lot about movies on this podcast. I have a continual movie blog. So I want to just name a few just because I like to spread the word on pieces of art that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Blood and Gold is a German movie. It's I think it's supposed to take place like the last couple weeks or months of World War II. So really like the walls are closing in on the Nazis, and it's about a defecting Nazi soldier who's basically on the run from other Nazis. I'll be quick with these, by the way, but something I love about this movie as one of the best Nazi villains I've ever seen. He's got, I think, an eye patch, if I remember. He's kind of like lanky and creepy. He speaks German very much like this, and he's like really, really good. It's a cool movie. It's definitely like a shoot 'em up movie.
Yeah,
kind of pure action. Really cool. I gave that an 87. The Artifice Girl, I think we talked about also. This is kind of the opposite of The Creator, which was nominated for a couple of Oscars. In the fact that they're both AI movies, but The Artifice Girl, unlike The Creator, which is like the whole world, literally continents going to war with each other and nuclear bombs and shit like that. The Artifice Girl is, I think, 3 or 4 actors. It's about AI. It's about catching predators with AI, and when does AI have a consciousness? This is a really, really cool movie. It shows what you can do with a lower budget. The only actor I know in it, I forget his name. I think he's also German, but he is famously in Aliens. He plays, coincidentally, an AI, like a robot or something. He's the one who gets ripped in half at the end.
Oh yeah.
And he's like all got that white dangly stuff, which is all amazing because practical effects. He's not AI in the movie. And he's only in the final kind of third of it.
Yep.
Final chapter, but very, very good. Highly recommend that movie. I love recommending like off the grid movies. That probably should actually be one of our seller selections, to be honest. That's really cool.
Yeah.
No One Will Save You. Really cool alien horror movie. What's really notable about it is that there's no dialogue in the whole movie. I think maybe like 1 or 2 lines. And it's creepy and fun, and we love horror. So I highly recommend that. And I think you can watch it on Hulu. The Kane Mutiny Court Martial. I mentioned this movie, I think, a couple episodes ago is it Jason Clarke? So if you know the Kane Mutiny, it's a famous movie, I think, from the 60s or 70s. With Humphrey Bogart. Why I love this movie, this is kind of a pure litigation movie. Like almost the entire movie takes place in a courtroom. So like some movies kind of hook you with legal drama, and it's really not. Like this actually is pure legal drama, cross-examination. Who do you believe? And Jason Clarke is fantastic. Like you saw him in Oppenheimer as, I think he's like a quasi lawyer there. He's
in
lawyer.
The last third.
Yeah. And it's an interrogation. It's not a courtroom, but this is his role in Oppenheimer, but like times 10. And he's really, really good. And he has, and I don't want to give it away, but the last moment of that movie is amazing. So highly recommend that. Especially, I'm a sucker for legal dramas. Aporia, another really cool. It's kind of almost like a steampunky sci-fi, but modern time, all about consciousness and parallel universes, but not like metaverse shit. I don't know how to explain it. It's much more grounded. and it has oh crap, blanking on her name. She was Kitty in Californication, I believe. She's a call girl. Very famous actress and voice. But she's basically, I'm bringing her up because she's usually a character actor and like a supporting actor, but here she's the lead. I think she does a really good job. And I'd just like to see her in more of that. I'll get her name to do her justice. I gave that an 87. And then last one, just kind of off the beaten path movies. It's a movie called Lola, Lola, all caps. This is one of the, like, I'm not even exaggerating. This is one of the most clever and like unique movies I've ever seen. It's a British movie. I think it was shot during COVID, so people had to get real creative. It's like, it's sci-fi-ish where these two sisters create a way to like see into the future with this really kind of archaic looking, it takes place in the 40s during World War II. And you can see into the future. So they use it to help Britain fight the Nazis. And it also can see like David Bowie in the future and all this stuff. But of course, it's a movie, so things go wrong because that would be boring. Also really, really cool, dark, interesting. That I think I already told you, like, that should be on our seller selections also. Okay. That's all. And I won't talk about bad. I was going to talk about some bad movies, but I'm not going to. I'm just glad Asteroid City didn't get nominated for anything. I did not like that movie. I love Wes Anderson. Yeah. We talked about him a bunch. We'll probably do our own episode on him, but I could not stand that movie. And I was afraid that it was going to get nominations when it shouldn't. Just because it's Wes Anderson.
Yeah, I heard it was very Wes Anderson, like doing just like his head up his own behind.
Yeah, I'm starting to see that with some directors. Like we did a whole episode on Beau is Afraid. I won't get into it again, but that's how I felt with Ari Aster and Beau is Afraid. It's like, well, I'm really successful. I back-to-back hits or whatever. I can just make a movie about whatever I want and make it as long as I want and make it, my psychologist chair movie and my mommy issues. And I don't like that. I don't appreciate that as a customer. All right. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of these movies?
No, I haven't.
Well, I saw Barbie.
I did not see Barbie, but I did see Beau is Afraid.
You didn't say Barbie?
No, I didn't.
Okay, but Beau is Afraid isn't nominated for anything.
So we're talking nominations.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I'm saying let's get into it. Yeah, nominations.
I watched Oppenheimer.
Oh yeah, you saw Oppenheimer.
Yeah. And then I'm familiar.
Did you Killers of the Flower Moon or no?
No,
okay.
I don't know. I love Scorsese overall. I've heard very mixed things about it.
I'll talk about it. Yeah.
Okay.
It was. All right, so let's just talk best pictures first.
Yeah.
Killers of the Flower Moon. I give it an 85.
Okay.
I haven't. So I've written my review. I haven't published it yet because it's going to be my last kind of segment for that year. So I'm just finishing it up. It was very good, but I would be fine with it not winning a single award. That's how I'll put it.
Yeah.
It did nothing. I don't know. It's kind of funny because there was this, and I think this is starting. I think this kind of got killed, but there was this concept in our culture that like everything needed to be like quick now, right?
Yeah.
Like Quibi, 10-minute episodes and stuff. And we've actually seen it's kind of the opposite. It's like Joe Rogan does 3-hour podcasts, and he's the most popular podcast in the world by a lot. Actually, coincidentally, I looked this up today. I don't know when these stats are from exactly, but the number 2 podcast in the world is The Reckless Muse. I'm kidding. Is of course. Is Crime Junkie, right? That gets about 5.9, so let's say 6 million views on average.
Yeah.
That's number 2. Joe Rogan is 11 million.
That's crazy.
So he's almost double the number 2 in the world. And he does 3-hour, sometimes 3.5-hour long podcasts. I mean, like there has been movie after movie that's been really, really, really long.
Yeah.
And I like that in a way because it's like, I didn't like this idea of everything being, Vine, which I loved Vine. I'm a Vine. Yeah. I'm of the Vine generation. Vine people were like a small segment of a subset of the millennial generation. And I was in that in college.
Yeah.
But I don't want that to be our whole culture.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that there's been lots of long movies that make a lot of money, like Oppenheimer, I don't know about the money thing, but like Oppenheimer's made a lot of money, but that are put out there and are really popular.
Yeah. Avengers Endgame was 3 hours long.
Was it 3 hours long? Okay, great. Like, cool. I didn't watch it. I'm not going to, but very cool.
Yeah.
This was almost 3.5 hours long, and it just like, it's not that it was a slog, because for 3.5 hours, it was actually really well paced. It still didn't need to be that long.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, and I also heard that DiCaprio's character was probably given more emphasis than was needed.
You mean like screen time?
Yeah.
That was one thing that they probably should have. I mean, I have Lily Gladstone here, not to get ahead of ourselves. I have her winning actress in a leading role. She's not my pick, but I have her winning, I think. So also, you have to take into account that the Oscars is not always based on merit. Like, they're going to pick based on based politically too sometimes. Not that it's like a cabal, but I'm sure a lot of them talk. And Lily Gladstone is like the first Native American non-binary. Like, I'm not making that up. Like, I joke that a lot of times, like native, trans, indigenous, but like, no, she actually is. But like she says, I looked her up. She says she doesn't use pronouns because her language culture thing doesn't have pronouns. It's like, okay, but that's not like, so does Japanese doesn't have gendered pronouns. It doesn't mean they don't believe in men and women. Like, I don't know where that came. That's like one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Like, I don't think Turkish uses gender pronouns either, or some of these other languages. It's like, that doesn't mean they don't believe in two genders.
Right.
That being said, that's who we're dealing with. I think she will win based on she was really good, and it's a Scorsese movie. It's an Oscar nominated movie, and she checks a lot of boxes. So anyway, so that's, Killers of the Flower Moon. It was like, it wasn't a mystery. It doesn't. So there's gonna be a lot of spoilers here. Again, this is the Oscars. I don't know if you don't want me to spoil them. I don't know, man.
Just
like, try to talk about, like, it's not. So basically, it's really cool historically. It's the Osage Indians who are based. They say this in the beginning of the movie. Per capita, they're the richest people in the world. They basically get moved around the country like a lot of natives do, and they go from I don't know, Kansas to Ohio, whatever, they go around the country, and they land in northern Oklahoma, and they strike oil, and they have the mineral rights for it. So they're like the richest people. That's what it says, the richest people in the country or in the world per capita, something like that.
Yeah.
And they start getting killed off, which is a really cool concept.
Right.
That's a really cool concept. Like, this, we're talking so rich that these are like native. They have like white butlers and drivers and maids and shit. And this is early 1920s.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's the early 1920s. And they start getting killed off, but it's like, it's not a mystery who's doing it. They don't try and make it a mystery. It's not like, gets kind of monotonous. It's very like linear, and it's like not a legal drama. There's like not a lot of drama to it, and I feel like it's just one of those movies that was like, the book. This is based on a book.
Yeah.
That sounds super interesting, and maybe it just should have remained a book. Like, I don't know, or maybe a documentary. Like, the drama, like dramatizing it, didn't seem like. Again, it's an 80. I gave it 85. It's really good.
No.
Really, really good. It's Scorsese, like, but it wasn't. I don't know. It didn't do it for me.
Yeah. No. Well, shame on you, Scorsese, is what I'm hearing from you.
No, it's just the ending is really cool. It has a really cool ending where it kind of has like a commentary on like true crime podcasts, where it's not. It's like a live show to, like, before podcasts were a thing, like a podcast live show that exists now. It's kind of like that, where it's like a rendition, like a telling, and not a play, but like telling of it, but with like shakers and shit, like things, like rubbing things and hitting coconuts to make it sound like horses galloping, like that kind of stuff. That was really cool. But it's also like, why didn't you do that in the beginning? Like, to make this really feel like a story.
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of jarring. Again, cool. And Scorsese gives a speech, like he gives the final kind of monologue, saying what happened in the end, like what happened to the characters. And I think people are interpreting that as like his swan song almost. Like, this was him, his final bow of the stage.
Right.
But anyway, who knows? I don't know. I don't want to spend too much time on one movie.
Yeah.
But we did a whole episode on Barbie, basically.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get back into it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be really fucking pissed if what's her name, America Ferrara wins actress a supporting role. I don't think she will.
Mhm.
I'll talk about who I think is gonna win and who I want to win.
Yeah.
But that would suck. Holdovers, I also Barbara gave it 81. Holdovers, I also gave it 85. We're gonna talk about that in actress and supporting role. Feel good movie, kind of definition of a feel good movie. I remember saying Christmas movie. Really, really good. Love Paul Giamatti. I'm a huge fan of Sideways. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. It's kind of like that character again, like that character 20 years later. Miles from Sideways in a way, like
Right.
like you could see Miles in Sideways. He's a teacher in like a public school or something in Southern California, and it's almost like 20 years later he's in a private school in New England, even though it's the 70s and it's not he went there. But anyway, Maestro, I think we talked about also because this seems like a movie you would love. I thought you would, but
Yeah.
it's like not that much about music, and it's
Yeah.
like, what the hell was the point?
Over the holidays, a friend of mine from college who also studied music with me, he watched it, and so he's a fan of Leonard Bernstein, and he said he's like, yeah, I had to turn it off like 2/3 of the way in because there's almost no music whatsoever.
There's
like,
almost no music.
so,
There's like there's like one scene of him kind of teaching to be conductors, like rising conductors, how to conduct. There's one amazing scene of him conducting. Maybe one other like short one. Like it was weird. It was like, okay, I don't get like I don't know, man. They did that thing where it's like I don't give a shit about their personal lives. He's Leonard Bernstein. Like that's what we know him for being. Probably the most famous conductor of the 20th century. Like I don't care about if he's banging young men. Like it's not important to me. I feel like too many times scripts and directors and writers make that mistake of like, oh, he actually wasn't a great guy. He was like cheating on us. I don't care. That's not why I'm watching this. I'll watch that about like cool suburban stories, about like American Beauty or something. Like that's where I care about that stuff. Where it's more about the commentary on the culture or whatever it is. Like I don't like this. I wanted to see why Leonard Bernstein was special, why he was important. Yeah, I just said I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going on. All right, I'll move on. We did Oppenheimer, I think, on episode, kind of.
Yeah, I think
Sort
maybe
of.
2 episodes, I think.
Okay, well, it's Oppenheimer. A lot of people have talked about it. I think it's going to clean up.
I hope so.
It's not my top movie of the year. It's up there. I have it at 92. I also had Everything Everywhere All at Once at a 92, and that one, it's long, it's cool, it's powerful, it's great acting, it's historical. I have that actually. So if we're doing like, I have that as my Best Picture winner.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah. Well, it would be a good pick, even if it's the only thing. So I think
it nukes all the others. So
nice. I think it's a shoe-in. I'd be surprised if anything else on here wins. I'd be really annoyed if Killers of the Flower Moon won over it. Yeah.
So yeah, I would be surprised if Oppenheimer did not sweep the awards, because there seems to be this thing with the Oscars where it's like, if somebody who is highly acclaimed and has been nominated several times but hasn't won, there's almost like the sort of like, okay, people are gonna get mad if we don't fucking give it to them. So like, let's just give it.
Well, that was the Leo Revenant Oscar. It was like, that's not. I don't know. I don't remember. I think it's 2014. I remember it also was nominated, but it's like, you should have given it to him for Wolf of Wall Street, or something else earlier.
And then when Scorsese finally won for The Departed, and it's like, the guy who did Goodfellas, he didn't like, he got nominated for that, but like he didn't.
Yeah.
So
again, I don't remember what they were up against those years, but I don't know. The Departed was really good. It's kind of, I love The Departed, but
it's good. It's definitely very good, but it's also like Taxi Driver, like Raging Bull, Goodfellas. You nominated him, but you didn't give it to him for those. Like,
those are good. Those are good movies.
So us were like, yeah, okay, let's just give it to him, so people stop complaining about like accusing us of snubbing him or something. So
yeah. So we don't have to get in. So when you say sweep, I get more annoyed of who might win. So it's like, if Emily Blunt wins actress of supporting role, just because she's riding the coattails of the rest of Oppenheimer, I'm going to be really annoyed because like she doesn't deserve the Oscar. She's a great actress.
Yeah,
She's not in it that much. It's kind of like a one-trick pony, and she's a drunk. Okay, they made that very obvious. This wasn't my like I didn't notice this. I heard this on other podcasts, but it's like every scene she seems to have like a flask in her hand.
Yeah,
like, we get it. She likes to drink. It's like
Yeah.
she was pouring a drinker. So again, we'll get into that with actually supporting role. Before I get onto my pick, I want to talk about Anatomy of a Fall. I gave it a 91. It's great. Like anything in the 90s, like high 90s, low 90s, there is a difference. Every point I think is a difference in my mind. So 91's really like I've had years where my highest score is a 91. I was a little let down with this movie. I thought it was going to be it's a French legal drama. Although that was going to be really, really like mind blowing.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed, like as a lawyer, I didn't realize how actually different the French legal system is than ours. It's kind of crazy that like how they hold trials. It's so much more conversational, and there's like multiple. It's not like here in our legal system. It's very like, whose turn is it?
Yeah.
This is how you answer. Like that's not like you present evidence, you go over the evidence. Like there, it's so much more conversational. People walking around, like multiple lawyers. Like I couldn't tell. There's like her personal defense attorney and then like another defense attorney who would both ask questions and object and things like that. It was very, very. There are multiple judges. That doesn't mean we don't do that here, but that's more for appeals and like panels, not for a trial. I've never seen a murder trial with more than one judge. But anyway, so it was a great movie. I want to give it love. I would be fine with it winning. I don't think it will. I think people would riot if it wins. It's like you give it to a French legal drama over like Oppenheimer,
Right.
or even Killers of the Flower Moon or something like that.
Yeah.
But I do want to give it love. It was a really, really cool movie. I went into that thinking this is going to be my top pick.
Right.
This is going to be the best movie I've seen all year. And it wasn't. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, go for it.
So my pick. So I actually thought I give this a higher score. I thought I give it a 93. I only gave it a 92. I know it's not big, but like it is tied now with Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
So my pick for what is nominated for Best Picture is Past Lives. I know people probably rolling their eyes at that. It's like a love story that there's no hot sex scenes or anything scandalous. It's like a very grounded, but I think beautiful, well-made love story. I was a huge fan of it. It really rose above. I went into that movie thinking it's like, this is going to be the typical like non-white people separate young, like childhood sweethearts. One goes to America. She meets a white guy, a white American, and she regrets it, and she falls back in love with her root. I thought it was gonna be one of those stories. Not at all. Like totally surprising.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. Like I love, and I guess I don't know. Sometimes I'm a softie for things like, what'll happen in the next life. Like we just kind of missed our chance. Like that very serendipitous, missed chances and. If you believe in things like reincarnation and karma and all that stuff, like I believe in some of that. I think it's just like really, I don't know, like sometimes the point of watching a movie is to feel something. It's like to really, whether that's fear or longing or just thrills. And this was just like pure love, but not in the conventional way. And I think because unlike, like I was just saying with Anatomy of a Fall, Past Lives, like far surpassed my expectations, not just of the quality of it, but of like what I was just expecting story wise. I just really loved that movie, and I highly recommend it. Don't be thrown. Like it's a mix of Korean and English. It's kind of like, it's the typical like laptop writing program, upper New York City stuff, but like it's really, really well done. And
do you got to be bilingual to understand it fully?
No, there's subtitles.
Good. Good. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, but does it ever get sentimental or like too cheesy, or is it? Manage that pretty well?
No, I think it manages it really, really well. Like, I don't know. It's weird. It's because one of those movies that it like I've never seen a movie like it.
Mm.
So it's hard to describe, which I really loved and why it's my pick. Now, again, I haven't seen Poor Things. It's supposed to be really good. This all might change. That might become my pick, or it might not. Like it doesn't have like a unanimous Rotten Tomatoes score. Like the audience score is like a 79. The critic score is in the low 90s, but it's not like, oh my God, everyone loves this movie. So I might not like it.
Yeah.
But given the director and given this what little I know about the substance of it, I think I will. So anyway, that's it for everything I've seen for Best Picture. Do you want to talk about any of those or?
No, just Oppenheimer all the way.
Oppenheimer all the way. All right. Well, last thing I'm going to say about Best Picture. Oh, go ahead.
Yep. No, I got to go pee.
Okay, go pee. Then I'll just say this while you go pee.
Yeah.
Saltburn got robbed. Saltburn got robbed in everything. That movie was so good. I give it a 93. You can read my review on Ben's Popular Movie Reviews List 5. I don't know why this movie got so much hate. It's like in the 70s and Rotten Tomatoes, I think, for both. It's amazingly shot. It's very cool. It's an interesting story. Yeah, it gets a little, I don't know, it gets a little much at the end. I get it, like his kind of rise. And when I say his, Barry Keoghan's, I don't know how to pronounce it, Keoghan. I think they maybe could have stopped it a little sooner, but I don't know. I loved this movie. It's not, people are just like, oh, it's just more erotic. Call Me by Your Name. It's not. There's one, I think, really cool scene that's very, that's analogous to the famous Peach scene in Call Me by Your Name. But I think this movie is fantastic. I think Barry Keoghan should be nominated for Best Actor. That's what we're going to get, actor in a leading role. Looking at it here, he would be my pick for it. I think he's a generational talent. I'm not saying this just to be difficult. I think he was the unbelievable performance. He's now reached that. He's reached that level with me where I'm going to watch everything he's been in, and I'm going to watch everything he's in from now on. So Joe, that's what I was just saying, that Saltburn got robbed. I love that movie. I don't get the hate for it from some people. I know some people do love it too.
Yeah.
I'm not going to rehash everything I just said for the listener's sake, but I'm saying Barry Keoghan, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think he's a generational talent. I think he's a fantastic actor. I think Emerald Fennell, I think she got robbed. You know, people are bitching about the gender stuff with not having females nominated. There's one here, Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall. I think it wasn't who did Barbie. It wasn't Greta Gerwig who got robbed. It was Emerald Fennell who got robbed for Saltburn. That's who should be nominated. Barry Keoghan would be my actor in the leading role winner, and Emerald Fennell probably would be my director winner, because Saltburn is shot so cool. There's so many great scenes. It's fun. It's interesting. It's erotic. It's funny. It's scary. I don't know. To me, it's like that's one of the all-encompassing movies. That's why you watch movies, is for something like Saltburn, and I loved it.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool. And Barry K.
He's amazing, dude. Like, he's so goddamn good.
Yeah,
I'm actually surprised why. Like, it didn't get nominated for anything.
Yeah, it looked very, I don't want to say Oscar baity, but it looked very like, oh, this is going to cause a stir with the critics and audiences, sort of thing. So I'm surprised just by the way it looked that it did not get anything. So
yeah, I don't know. I'm very upset about it, because it's not my top movie of the year. I give it a 93. We're going to talk about my top movie so far. But I definitely think it should be like, that should be nominated over The Holdovers, Barbie, at least those two. And I'm not just obviously off my score, it'd be the top. And Maestro, of course. Like, Maestro should not have been fucking, like, you're gonna put Maestro over Saltburn. Like, that's such bullshit. Like, fine, definitely put Bradley Cooper, an actor in a leading role. That I'm fine with that.
Sure.
Even Carey Mulligan for actress. Was she leading or supporting? She was leading. Yeah, fine. Put her in for nominee, but like, don't put that movie in for Best Picture. All right.
You know who real quick about the maestro is Steven Spielberg produced it, so I wonder if that may have contributed to the extra Oscar love that it got.
Are you saying that Israel does not have the right to exist, Joe?
You know, I'm just
I
saying.
believe that Israel has the right to exist. No, I actually listened to a podcast. I listened to another, basically what we're doing now, Oscars prediction episode. And so Spielberg was supposed to direct that first.
Oh, interesting.
Apparently. And then I think this is all hearsay. He saw Bradley Cooper in A Star Is Born, and Bradley Cooper, and then and Spielberg was like, "No, you should direct this movie."
Yeah.
I don't know exactly why. And also apparently Bradley Cooper learned to be a maestro a conductor for 6 years.
Yeah.
For
what?
Is this Philistine of me to say to like why?
No, that's you're based on how little like actual music stuff. It seems very excessive.
It's not like you're playing Jimi Hendrix, and if you don't look like you can play guitar, it'll just ruin the movie.
Right.
Like, it's being a fucking conductor. Like what else do you have to do? I'm not saying that they don't do anything. That's not what I'm saying. And Leonard Bernstein was known for being very just gesticular. Like he was known for that, and that's where Tar, where she does that in Tar, because she was influenced by him. Great movie, by the way. So to me, it's like you should learn 6 years to be Leonard Bernstein, not to be a composer. And I think he does a great job. I don't know anything about Leonard Bernstein, like his mannerism. I don't know any of that, but I like Bradley Cooper in it a lot.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's get on to director.
Yeah.
We'll move along through these quicker. So the thing for director is I haven't seen the first two. I don't know who Jonathan Glazer is for Zone of Interest. Yorgos I love, but I haven't seen the movie yet, so we'll move on from that. I have Christopher Nolan winning, and I pick him to win out of what's left. I don't think Marty should get it for Killers of the Flower Moon, and Justine Triet. Love that movie, but I just think it's Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Did you see? I think I sent you. Nolan wants to do a horror movie.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, dude, that I thought I sent you on Instagram.
Maybe you did. I
really hope that happens. That would be great.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Let's get horror more Oscars.
Yeah, I agree. There've only been 4 or 5 horror movies that have been ever nominated. It's
was
very, very rare.
Hereditary? Did Hereditary or Midsummer get an Oscar nom?
No.
What about Midsummer?
I don't think Midsummer did.
Right.
But I know Exorcist. Because it was very middling.
I bet there's probably a MILF Summer.
Oh, MILF Summer. Oh, I didn't catch that. No.
I'm sure there's a porn. I actually don't know if there's a porn named MILF Summer. If there's not, definitely missed opportunity there.
If there's a Lord of the G String, there's got to be MILF Summer somewhere.
Growing up, my favorite was Saving Ryan's Privates. Not that I've ever seen it, but
yeah.
I've
only watched it for the plot. It was I give it a B+. Yeah.
For Pirates, that was a big one.
Pirates, that was a big one. Yeah, I remember that one.
All right, actress in a leading role. I did see Naiad, Annette Bening. I gave it a 74. It was fine. It was good. Definitely a movie about like a cool. If I have an athlete who's if I have an athlete who's a daughter. If I have a daughter who's an athlete, like that's the kind of movie I want her to watch. Very like tenacious. Don't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
It was good. Like it was a good movie. Watch on Netflix. True story. All that stuff. Cool. So then I have Lily Gladstone winning, and I have Sandra Hüller from Anatomy of a Fall as my pick, who I want to win.
Yeah.
She's fantastic in Anatomy of a Fall. She's German. It's kind of like, I mean, sometimes we're like, oh, they're all European. It's like, no, like Germans are different than French people. And like, because she gives them, to Germans, the French are like the really nice ones, always smiling and stuff. It's like, oh, that's our stereotype when we go over there.
Yeah.
But she's, another thing about the Anatomy of a Fall is like, I can't imagine being on trial for murder. She's doing it in a second or third language. Like they ask her sometimes, like she's answering questions for her murder trial in English.
Yeah.
And sometimes in French. where her first language is German, and this is a part of the movie where her and her husband, who's the one who died, whether she killed him or not is obviously the point. But like he argues, it's like, we're in my country and we're speaking English, and she's like, oh well, you know, I don't speak French very well, and you don't speak German, so English is kind of a middle ground and all that. It's like, so she's answering questions sometimes in French for her murder trial. So I couldn't imagine, like, I don't know, very cool. She's great in it, very like level-headed, and it's also one of those things where culturally, and then I'll get off this movie, but culturally, because her son was a witness in a way, but he's also like 90% blind or something.
Right.
Like the state just makes her leave her house, and they have like a guardian there, like a young girl.
Yeah.
I start screaming in American when I see that. It's like, you're gonna make me leave my and he's not an adult. He's not like 20. He's like 12 or something. You're gonna make me leave my son. Like, to me, that's so un-American that the state can just say like, and again, it's not like an abuse thing.
Yeah.
Like, that would be different. But to me, that's just crazy. I'm like, and that's totally normal there. Anyway, so that's my pick. I don't think Carey Mulligan should get it for Maestro at all. It's not about her.
Yeah.
I'm surprised she's even nominated for leading role. I would see more supporting role. I like Carey Mulligan a lot.
Yeah. I wonder if this is again like a sort of legacy nomination sort of thing where it's like she's due. Come on, like,
did she not get nominated for Promising Young Woman? I don't remember.
I think she did. I think she does have a couple of nominations.
I really like her. I like her a lot. But I would be shocked if she won. Yeah. And then Emma Stone, again, haven't seen Poor Things. It's getting a lot of buzz.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be, but I don't know. Actor, Barry Keoghan, I'm writing it in. If I'm at the Academy, I'm writing, like, that's how much, I don't mean to be a shithead. That's how much I loved his performance in Saltburn. It is such bullshit that freaking, actually, the nominees are all pretty good. Even like Bradley Cooper, if there is a nomination from Maestro, it should be him, an actor in leading role.
Yeah.
I think so. Coleman Domingo. So Rustin, I did watch. I gave it a 7.75. Yeah. I really like Bayard Rustin is one of the lesser known, I think purposefully lesser known civil rights leaders. Like, everyone knows obviously MLK, and a lot of people know John Lewis. Crap, I'm blanking on his name. He passed away a couple years ago. He's a congressman from Georgia. But anyway, some of the, like, obviously Malcolm X, even though he was kind of different part of civil rights movement. Bayard Rustin was a huge part of the Million Man March. He basically organized it. He was also gay, and he was arrested for being gay in California at one point, like the 50s. So a lot of them looked at him as like a stain. Like, you know, this was the 60s. For any of these crits who want to cancel people and rip down statues and change names, there's a boulevard right in the Harlem called Adam Clayton Powell. Adam Clayton Powell was known, I think he was the first Black person ever elected to Congress. I'm not positive. He had like a Harlem district, like kind of the uptown New York district. He was a monster. He basically ruined Bayard Rustin's life. Because he was gay. You know, he's obviously a Black man, but because he was gay, this is a guy who, if I told you all this and I said he was white, the crits would be like, oh, rip it, like, change the name of that boulevard. I've been on Adam Clayton Boulevard. It's like I've gone, my fiance's taught at Harlem Cycle there. Yeah. I've been there, I've taken classes there. And I don't think people realize, like, he was a terrible person to the LGBTQIA plus community. But they're not changing, you know, that street name. So anyway, it's a cool movie. It's on Netflix. I love Coleman Domingo. I think he's a great actor. He's also in The Color Purple, so he's in 2 Oscar-nominated movies this year. I give Rustin a 75, but I don't think he'll win, and I don't think. I mean, it's going to be Cillian Murphy.
I got no problem with that.
Yeah, that's my pick. That's who I think should win and will win. Love Paul Giamatti in The Holdovers. Don't see him winning. Jeffrey Wright, maybe. I actually could see. I don't know if it's going to go to anyone else. It could be Jeffrey Wright. Yeah. I haven't seen American Fiction, but he's a phenomenal actor. He's Black, and he's an Oscar-nominated movie. So put those together again. That's just kind of based on politics. I think he could win, but betting man, I think it's pretty close to a shoe-in Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
Actress in a leading role. We talked about Emily Blunt. Danielle Brooks, The Color Purple. I give it 87. Great musical, but I don't know why she's nominated for it. I think Fantasia Barrino, famously from American Idol, she was great. Like, and Danielle Brooks is really, really good in it too, but she's like a supporting actress. She like goes huge swaths of the movie, not even in it. I guess Barrino would have been leading, so they couldn't make her, but she, I thought, was the best part of that movie, and Coleman Domingo.
Right.
It's a very famous story. This is a musical. I loved it. I think it had some mixed reviews. We've gone over America Ferrara. I will riot if she wins. Jodie Foster and Nyad, very good, but I can't imagine she won. I think that was because she's Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
Divine Joy Randolph. This is my pick, who I think will win and should win. I loved this role. I think I talked about her on this on an episode. So me going into this, I think she's going to be like past lives. I think she's going to be a stereotype. She's she's one of 2 Black people at this stuffy boarding school up in New England in the 70s. She's the lunch lady. You think she's going to be like the sassy lunch lady, like giving life advice, kind of like the magical Negro stereotype,
Right.
That she's not. She's a beautiful character. It doesn't mean she doesn't have good advice. But she's much more kind of comprehensive than that, and I loved that. Her son got to go to this school, probably one of the only Black students, because she worked there. He died in Vietnam. And you see like she wears that pain on her. I mean, he died like last year or something in the movie. So like you just see her carry that pain with her. It's a wonderful role. I don't know. I was really shocked. Like she might be the best part of that movie, and I really hope she wins. And that's my pick. Like I wouldn't be surprised if she won. I think a lot of people, like, no one knows who that is. They see people like Emily Blunt. They see America Ferrara, Barbie. They're like, oh, it's one of them. Like, I think that's kind of like my, I've seen a lot of movies pick, and I hope she wins.
Every so often, there's like, I wonder if the Oscars have this strategy of, okay, ratings are going down. Maybe we can cause a stir in the aftermath, sort of thing, right? Like, maybe we can get people to be like, oh, like they nominated somebody interesting. Maybe they'll nominate somebody interesting next year, sort of thing. So every once in a while, like a sort of black horse, some actor or someone gets the win. So
it's also, to me, I don't know if you feel the same way. Like supporting actress and actor supporting role, it's almost like that's your time to experiment. Like that's where like someone who it's like. I think you can kind of stray in those categories. Doesn't mean like it should go to the best performance, to get me wrong. But I think that's where it's like you can stray a little more as a voter. And I also would love it because America Ferrara, like, you're going to complain about not winning, really, from a Black woman? Like, okay, let's hear it. But if Emily Blunt wins, it's like, oh, it's a straight white woman or whatever. But Divine Joy Randolph, it's like, all right, let's you complain about that, America Ferrara. I really don't like her. I think it's not just I don't like her, because it's like you should never get mad at a character, but I think like she was just playing herself in that movie. Yeah, just from like what I've seen and heard, and so I just she rubs me the wrong way. Actor in supporting role. I have winning. I actually have De Niro winning because I think they're going to give Killer something. Yeah. Or no, actually, I have what's her name though winning too, Lily Gladstone. Shit, I don't know. I have him winning because I do, but maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should have Downey Jr. winning, because I think it's going to go to one of them.
Yeah, I'm thinking Downey Jr.
Yeah, now that might actually be my pick.
It's not only is it my pick, but I leaning more. I haven't heard much from De Niro's performance in Killers of the Flower Moon. Whereas I heard with Downey Jr., he made kind of a bigger splash.
Well, neither to me are. They're great. They're fantastic actors. Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe it's the expectations. Like they did the job. They were really, really, really good. But I don't know, I like to hold the Oscars to a higher standard, something special. Yeah. I think I want so bad for the Goss God to win. I want him so bad to win, and I want it to be the only thing Barbie wins.
Yeah.
so badly. I think that'd be
great.
hilarious. And I think it's all like he was the best. He was the best part of that movie. He actually has a character arc. He actually learns lesson. He is funny. He looks great. Like he plays Ken so well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's fantastic. I don't think he will win. That's why I want to win.
Mhm.
I have heard Ruffalo getting a lot of love though for Poor Things. Haven't seen it, so I don't know. I'll report back to you next week.
It's an interesting pick just to get nominated, but again, the Oscars once in a while will throw a curveball. So I mean, Downey Jr. got an Oscar nomination for Tropic Thunder.
Wait, he did?
Yeah.
Oh my god, he's amazing in that movie.
Yeah, it's sort of objectively, he's terrific, but it's also sort of like, he's playing an actor playing a black dude. So it's like, that's pretty. That's kind of an outsider one.
He's a white American playing a white Australian playing a black American.
Yeah,
that movie couldn't get made today, and it's such a shame because that is like me and my friends, or like me and my one friend in particular. That like when we met, it's very nostalgic to us. It's like we met in 2009 summer. We were there for football camp. My brother, this is how old school this is, like compared to now. My brother got that on DVD in Thailand before it came out. So I had a copy. Like in the beginning, it has like some Thai shit first, or Vietnamese. I forget which way. He went to both countries, but it was very cool to me being like, I got this movie before it was out here. And looking back, I have it somewhere, and now I actually have a DVD player. I can play it. Maybe it's shitty quality, but like a freshman in college, we watched that movie like several days in a row. We were the only people on campus because football had to be there early, and it was like very special to us. And I do think it's a hilarious movie.
Yeah, no, it's great. But yeah, getting back to De Niro and Downey, I can see De Niro winning simply because it's like, come on, like he's such a legend. Let's just give it to him. There's also like Downey Jr., where it's also sort of like, it's almost kind of a similar thing where it's like, okay, we've nominated him twice already. Just fucking give it to him.
So I didn't look at the history. Do either of them have Oscars?
Yes, I know De Niro has 2.
Yeah, okay. So De Niro has 2.
Downey Jr. only has 2 nominations.
I assume De Niro had at least one. So if that's the case, I'm probably going to print a new one of these anyway because I'm going to see Poor Things, and then I'm probably going to also watch Napoleon this weekend. And Less Perfect Days. What was that?
Dynamite? Napoleon Dynamite?
No, just the regular one.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm probably going to change my answer to that. But not who I want to win, unless Mark Ruffalo is amazing in Poor Things, in which case I'll pick him. Original screenplay, I have Anatomy of a Fall winning, and I want that to win.
Yeah.
I love original screenplay. It's actually one of my favorite categories. So I think it's in the name, it's like original. I think it's really hard to take something original and turn it, or not take, like create something original and turn it into a movie instead of adapted. I feel like it's almost like a crutch in a way. Now I'm not knocking adapted screenplays, but to take something that someone created from scratch and turn it into a movie, I think is, I mean, yes, all adapted things were at scratch at one point also, but I don't know, it's just different. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I think Anatomy of a Fall deserves it. And I saw all of these actually. And I'll talk about myself next.
What does kind of bother me about the original screenplay category is when it's based on like a historical figure. So in this case, Leonard Bernstein. Because it's almost like, you already kind of, you still have a blueprint there.
Yeah, you're right. I see that, but I still think taking like a historical figure like a Napoleon, right, or Leonard Bernstein, it's not the same as like taking the famous book about Leonard Bernstein, right? And turning into a movie or a Shakespeare play or something like that. Again, I definitely
see that it is in a little bit of a gray area for me. I'm almost like, it's not completely original.
I could see that too. May December. So I love that got a nom. So I actually gave that movie an 88. I really like that movie. A lot of people are saying, one co-host on a podcast said that I think his name's Charles Melton. He should have been nominated for actor in a supporting role. And I probably agree. Again, I have only seen 3 out of the 5, but he was really, really good in that too. I don't know if you're familiar with that story. Do you know what that is?
No.
So also, actually, the point you just made, So May December is like loosely based on this story of a woman, and it's important here to make that distinction. A grown woman who fell in love with, not just slept with, fell in love with like a 12-year-old student of hers, and like ended up marrying him, went to prison, but still married him and had his children, and like stayed with, like started a family with him. Now this isn't that story, but it's very, very, it's like not even loosely based on it. It's like inspired by it, I would say, I guess, or I don't know. I guess I don't know what the tier is. Inspired by or loosely based on. I call it boats, based on a true story. But it's what's her name? Julianne Moore is playing this character, and she's like a social pariah in a way. She has some close friends, and then it's Natalie Portman is playing an actress who's going to play her in a movie. So it's like about a movie within a movie. So Natalie Portman is shadowing her and like spending time with her to play her in a movie that is in this movie. And so Charles Melton's character is like our age, and his children are already going to college, and one's already in college. Right. So he's like and you kind of see him being, his like growth was stifled, and because he's going to be an empty nester in his early 30s or something like that, which is just insane. But really, really good movie. I think it's on Netflix, so you can watch it. So definitely recommend that. Adapted screenplay. I picked Poor Things to win. Just again, I haven't seen it, but I think it was just from what I've heard. And then I guess I picked Oppenheimer for my pick. I think depending on, I don't know if Oppenheimer's going to completely clean up, but I think I don't know why I have this feeling that they might switch it around a little. Like I think Oppenheimer's going to win a lot. Like for my picks, not out of everything, so I didn't do some, but I have Oppenheimer winning 6, which is double the number 2. So I have Barbie winning 3. Again, not what I want to win, what I think will win. We don't have to talk about that anymore, I don't think. Okay, let's do international feature.
Okay.
I've only seen 1 out of the 5.
Come on, Ben.
But it's my number 1 movie of the year, and that is Society of the Snow. I loved that movie. I realized how much I actually enjoy survival movies, and this is probably the best one I've ever seen. It's about the true story of the Uruguayan rugby team's plane crashing in the Andes going to Chile. It's just such an unbelievable true story. And I listened to like an in-depth podcast on last podcast on the left about it. And it's also based on a book. You said like Alive was one of those movies that was big, but like I think that was not nearly as well done. They kind of rip on it sometimes. Like Society of the Snow, it's obviously in Spanish. It's just a beautiful movie. It's so, I mean, basically they basically say if this wasn't like a young rugby team, they all would have died. Like it's because they were already a team. They knew each other. They were young men. For the most part, it wasn't all of them, but it was just an unbelievable story. It's kind of hard to describe, but if you're gonna, but I feel like this is one of those movies. Like out of everything we've talked about, like I doubt a lot of our listeners have seen this movie. I think it's on Netflix. I loved it. Right now, it's my top movie of the year. And again, I wasn't expecting that by this time in the year. I thought like Anatomy of a Fall or Killers of the Flower Moon, or like we're gonna surpass it, but but this is just, I don't know. I loved this movie.
Well, you've been to Spain, which is where the movie, the country that this movie comes from. So that you should recuse yourself from.
I should. It is considered a Spanish movie, even though it doesn't take place. It's all South America, but I guess the team who made it, the production company or the director, I don't know that, but it's all Spanish. But it's always funny when it's like South America because they have like German names, so stuff, and they're like, some of them do. So a lot of Italian names and Spanish, of course. But anyway, so I have Zone of Interest winning international feature just because it's nominated for Best Picture. And I guess it just, I don't know. The Teacher's Lounge sounds really cool. It's on my list. It just hasn't come up yet. I think it's a German movie. All right. Original score. I don't do documentaries. An animated feature. I love animated movies, but I haven't seen it. I like can't find The Boy and the Heron. I just like don't. I like can't get it. I heard Elemental was not very good, and
Yeah.
I don't know those other two, and I don't watch the Spider-Man, Spider-Verse movies. I know they're very popular, but I
The
just
first one was very good. I think it even won, and so I'm
Yeah.
gonna say the Spider-Man.
Oh
Across the
yeah,
Spider-Verse,
so
I'm gonna pick that one. So
that's probably gonna win. But Boy and the Heron is Miyazaki, and he like came out of retirement, I think, to do it. So like it's almost like a legacy win if he has no, but he did win Spirited Away. I'm almost positive won Best Picture. And I heard Boy the Heron is kind of disappointing. Definitely gonna see it. All right, I'm trying to race through these a little more. I know we're getting original score, Oppenheimer, I have winning and going to win. Original song. Yeah, go ahead.
John Williams for Indiana Jones.
Oh, he's never won, right?
No, he's won 5 times.
Oh, he has?
Yeah, he has.
Who am I thinking of who's never won? Composer.
I know Jared Goldsmith won once, but he got nominated for like 11 Oscars or something. He's got a bunch of nominations. But
who did Star Wars?
John Williams.
Oh shit! I thought there was like someone very famous who's never won.
Maybe Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer. Maybe it's Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, maybe.
I always thought it was John Williams. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
But yeah. So the reason why I bring up John Williams though is because I believe he retired. So this might be kind of like
yeah. All right, that might be a good pick. Just because the Oppenheimer's probably going to win so much other stuff. Yeah. I love the song. It's on my writing study list.
It's a very good montage, like thinking.
Yeah, and I can't write or study to. Not that I do much studying anymore, but I can't write to like really lyrics. Like opera, I can, but I can just like listen to regular music. So I do all instrumentals and a lot of soundtracks and. Can You Hear the Music? I like a lot. That's from Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Original song. So just because all the movies I've seen that have been nominated, I did see Flamin' Hot. It's bad. I gave it a 43. The Fire Inside is nominated, but fuck that movie. I have I'm Just Ken to win, and I hope it does win. Yeah. So actually, I take it back. I hope it's not just Gosling winning, but that also is kind of Gosling too, and like just the men. So that'd be very funny. Cinematography, El Conde. I watched this last week. I gave it an 82. It's a really cool movie. All Spanish. It's like historical with vampires, a lot of beheading. Really cool. It's all black and white. I think it's a really like neat looking movie. It's its only nomination. I would like to see that win because I think that's very cool. I don't always love seeing the same movies win over and over. Yeah. Again, if they're deserving, that's fine. But especially if like Poor Things or Oppenheimer or Killers, if they're winning other things, like I would love to see something like El Conde win. Foreign language, doesn't have the same budget as these other types of movies, and it was good. I think it was a really good movie.
Cool.
There's an actress in it who. I think is very famous down in I think she's Chilean, and she was really, really good in it. Costume design, I don't know. I have Barbie winning, and I want Napoleon to win, even though I haven't seen it yet because I like historical shit. Yeah. Editing, Oppenheimer winning, and that's my pick. Makeup and hairstyling, I want Society of the Snow because I love that movie, and I have Poor Things winning just from what I've heard. Production design, I have Barbie winning. I want Killers of the Flower Moon to win. I thought it was really, the setting is great. Sound. So here are the creators, the last movie. So I saw 15 of the nominees by the weekend's end. I will have seen 17 because I'm going to do Napoleon and Poor Things. The creator gave it 72. I talked about a little. It is a beautiful movie to look at. It's really, really cool. As a story, it's like a hollow shell. It tries to do everything. It's the opposite of The Artifice Girl. It tries, like the creator tried to be like the seminal AI movie. It's like, we're going to make the AI movie. Yeah. And they tried to do too much where The Artifice Girl was just like contained and significantly better. I have Oppenheimer winning both of those. And then visual effects is the last thing I did. I have the creator winning because it was a really cool movie to look at. And I have Mission Impossible winning for who I think will win.
Yeah. Action movies often win for
Yeah, and then the shorts and stuff, I didn't see any of them. I just
who
never really
cares?
know till after.
Yeah.
Well, they're cool, but I don't really know. I don't review them, and I don't review documentaries. And I actually have a lot of gripes with documentaries, to be honest. A lot of times they're like the opposite of, it's just you're lying just to prove a point. Like you're not actually documenting an issue or a case or something.
Yep.
So anyway, that's the rundown.
Want to talk one last little thing?
Sure, let's do it.
So this is in the Hollywood Reporter. Climate version of the Bechdel Test released and applied to this year's Oscars nominees, with Barbie and Nyad among passing films. So for those who are not familiar with the Bechdel Test, it says that first, at least 2 women are featured in a project. Second, that these women talk to each other. And third, that they discuss something other than a man.
You know what's hilarious? It's like how many movies fail that.
I know.
I actually think the Bechdel test like does serve a purpose. Like it used to serve a purpose much more.
Yeah.
What you're about to describe, I don't think does.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. So this is called the Climate Reality Check, which is a straightforward 2-part evaluation that asks whether 1, climate change exists in a project, and 2, if a character knows it. So you actually have to have like an explicit, because I mean, here's the thing, with at least with the Bechdel test, you could be like, okay, like, yeah, in real life, women do talk about other things besides men, and they have friends who are women. They don't need to their lives don't always revolve around men. Whereas this, it's like, you actually have to have characters in a movie noticing, oh shit, it's climate change, it's global warming. So it's just
like what I hate this so much, because it's so like the Bechdel test makes sense. It's like, you're taking half the population and just kind of making them human.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot different than having every character like affirm that the planet is being destroyed. Like that's not, that seems so like, what's so funny is that there are going to be some movies that do try and do this, and just randomly you're going to get like characters stop and be like, it's like, it's 3 degrees hotter than it was this time last year. Or like, like the sea levels are rising in Florida or something. It's like, what does that have to do with this movie?
I bet you anything that this will lead to like a new industry. So for example, like during COVID, when you had, in the film industry, like it created a whole bunch of new jobs of like COVID testers, like constantly going, like, policing, social distancing on movie sets, and testing. Like, are you gonna have like some, or it's not just you write a script, you submit it to a studio, they approve it. It's like, okay, yeah, this looks great, but we're gonna send it to our a brain trust of scientists to approve it before we can go through with producing the film. Like, is that going to happen? Like, this
is really stupid. Did they say is this was like an idea, or did they say this is being implemented anywhere?
It sounds like it is. Here, I'll just read the first paragraph because I think it kind of answers it. Good. By the way, they're called Good Energy. They are a story consultancy that aims to simplify climate representation on screen. Climate representation, so stupid. Has teamed up with Colby College's Buck Lab for Climate and Environment to release the Climate Reality Check, a tool to measure the representation of climate change on screen.
I know someone who went to Colby College, and she's a huge bitch. Yeah. Not even kidding.
Maybe she's the one behind this. The purpose of the climate test is to provide an easy tool for those in the entertainment industry to evaluate their stories, for researchers to measure whether climate representation is present in any group of stories, and for audiences to see if Hollywood is representing their reality on screen. It was developed in consultation with more than 200 writers, showrunners, executives, and communications experts to ensure it's easy, measurable, and creatively inspiring. So I guess like maybe a studio has to hire them, basically.
Well, this is really dumb, and I hope this doesn't happen. I don't think it will. This is like getting kind of ridiculous, but I wanted to say, because didn't last year they were talking about like certain kind of DEI rules that had to be put in place, or things wouldn't get nominated. Like, I guess like where, like in Anatomy of a Fall, or like there might be like a black person or a not white person like in the audience at the trial, but like none of the characters or was it like women? Like basically, could you just not have movies about straight white men only? Yeah. Because people are saying about Napoleon, how like there's random like black soldiers, where it's like that didn't exist then. there've been black soldiers in the French army for a while, but like not then. So shit like that. But like I've seen, I mean, in Oppenheimer, you saw Oppenheimer. How would that pass the DEI stuff?
Not at all. You know, like the two like main female characters. One of them is an alcoholic, and then the other one is she's
Like a
having an affair.
commie, yeah, having an
Who's a commie.
affair, commie. But I don't remember. It's not all just like sometimes I feel like this gets still done to like, oh, they're black people. Like, no, there's a lot of things that these rules, and a lot of it's also behind the scene. But like the director is Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
It's about bombing Asians. It's you know, all straight men, and there's no like overt homosexuality or any sort of LGBT representation, I don't think. So how would Oppenheimer pass? Did they have like the key grip be a drag queen or something? Like, like I don't know. I'm just wondering, like, did they just kind of not do that? Did they just say like, oh, we're just not going to do that?
It's kicking off next year. This is in Forbes.
Oh.
So it says the first standard, A, which has come under fire from conservatives. Yeah, exactly. Because you can't be like a left-wing person and be like, yeah, this is dumb. Can be met in one of three ways. One, either one lead or significant supporting character is from an underrepresented racial or ethnic group. Two, at least 30 of the acting ensemble is from at least two underrepresented groups, such as women, the LGBTQ community, disabled, deaf, etc. And three, the storyline centers on an underrepresented group.
So you need one of those three?
Yeah, one of those three, just to satisfy the first standard. Then standard B, films must meet one of three criteria: at least two creative leaders. I mean, I can just keep going on and on. You know what it's going to be.
Yeah, it's the same shit. So that doesn't. That's not in this year's batch.
Not this year. No. So next year.
I'm trying to see. Like, so would Oppenheimer?
Oh wait, no. Actually, I think it is. Well, because this article is from June of last year.
2023 or 2022.
2023. Yeah. So yes. So it does say would take effect with the upcoming 96 Oscars ceremony in March 2024. So yeah.
So how does Oppenheimer pass that?
He was just too good for them to ignore him.
Or Anatomy of a Fall. How? I'm just wondering. Like, it must be then Oppenheimer must be like behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Do Jews count? I'm serious.
I know. I have no idea.
Because if the Jews count, then you have nothing to worry about.
Right.
Because everything will pass. I believe Israel has the right to exist.
Same here, Benjamin. By the way, did you know that you shared the same first name as Israel?
Netanyahu?
Yeah. That's nice.
We're
Solidarity, man. Did you just change that? Did you just change your first name to that?
Yeah, just in solidarity with Netanyahu. Yeah, I mean, I actually don't like being around other Bens. I think there can be only one.
Like, are you on a mission to kill all of them so that you get their powers?
Yeah, all Ben powers. I was actually thinking about doing the Bechdel Test. Do two women talk about me? How many Bens are in your movie? Do both Bens? Do two women talk about me?
Yeah.
Who are they? I was thinking about that.
And how hot are they?
Yeah. How many Bens are in your movie?
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to maybe, I probably won't watch the Oscars, but I'll definitely watch people's reactions to them on Twitter. So
that's kind of what podcasts are now. No, I'm gonna watch. I love it. It's the one award thing I watch, and now the Tonys with my fiance.
Okay.
But I just love it. I do, even though it's gonna be. I think there's always just someone who gets up there and the Rolodex goes, and it's like young women. It's all right, and I'm gonna drink every time someone brings up abortion and women's bodies, and every time someone says Latinx. Oh, Gaza, yes. Oh my God, do you think someone does it?
Oh, I'm sure. I'd be surprised if somebody doesn't bring it up in some form. So
yeah, someone's gonna connect like the holdovers to Gaza.
Yeah.
The actual one would be Killers of the Flower Moon. If Lily I would place this bet right fucking now. If Lily Gladstone wins best actress in leading role, she will absolutely say something about Gaza.
What would make you not want to watch the Oscars? If it got too political, or
if America Ferrera wins.
All right. Well,
No, if someone, I think they realized, because I think it used to be more unwatchable.
Yeah.
Because everyone was like in like the heat of Trump year. Like I don't remember like the 2017 Oscars was, but I'm sure it was a shit show.
Yeah.
In terms of that. And I think they realized like, hey, no one's fucking watching anymore, so we have to cut that shit out.
Yeah.
And I've noticed it be actually less political recently, overall. But if Trump wins again, which it's probably going to win, I don't know. If some make me not watch it, it would have to be like a really, really bad year. And I'm really happy I saw the Will Smith thing live.
Oh yeah.
Like that was like why live TV is sometimes amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I genuinely mean this. I really do want to watch. I really want to like the Oscars, and I used to when I was like 14, 15, when I was a teenager. I just loved it. But it's
you love Hollywood, and we went to the Dolby Center and all that. Like, I'm surprised you aren't into it more.
Yeah, I think, but I think I've also just become very bothered with the concept of awards for creative endeavors. And also just the whole industry is it's just a big popularity contest that the industry created for itself. So it just seems very masturbatory, and
it is the meat parade.
Yeah, that's right.
it's onanism at its finest.
But maybe one of these days I'll come around.
All right, well, I'll let you know. I liked it last year. 2 years ago was Will Smith, right? Yeah, last year it was good. Yeah. I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah. All right.
Fight the crits.
Fight them.
Fight up.
Oh, and donate to our Patreon. And
check out our Patreon. This episode's gone long, so I won't. Yeah. But you know where to find us.
You know what to do. All right. Bye, everyone.
We go. You know what to do. Starship Troopers there for you.